What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler. Welcome back to the TJR Auto channel. And if you guys watched my last couple videos, well, my last almost 10 videos, you would see how much work we have put into the GTO to get to this point. In the last GTO video, we got her to fire, which was just an amazing feeling, which is actually today. So it's kind of a weird thing. But in today's video, I want to get this thing streetable. I want to get her back on the road, and I want to go back to rowing some gears, kicking some ass, lighting some tires up, and I'm probably going to blow it up, if we're going to be honest. So let's start working. So I did learn the hard way in the last video that about an hour or two with my little baby charger, the battery was still dead. So now we're going to give her some God's juice up in the tingly wingly over there, and hopefully that's good. It says it's about 50% charged. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That thing's probably older than me, but it works sometimes. So we're going to leave that situation where it is. Now, to get this thing streetable per se, I would like to be able to daily drive this car by the end of the week, or at least be able to take it on its main voyage, which would be kind of cool. So obviously we need cooling system, power steering. The steering needs to be finalized. We need an alignment and a throttle cable. Throttle cable is on order. That should be here tomorrow, which will be in this video. Another thing I need to do too is the catch can. So we're gonna kind of just start playing with stuff and see where we end up. I don't really know where to start. Maybe with that pile over there, but we'll see. All right, well, you guys just saw in the last clip, my buddy Darren with a beautiful red 6.0 goat stopped by, and me and him were bullshitting for a while, so unfortunately I really didn't get much done tonight on the car, but I will show you what I did get done. So I went to AutoZone, spent more money, as I love to do. I bought a new radiator hose for the one that was cut that I showed you guys earlier, so I will have to do a test fit to make sure that I can make it work, so I can figure that out, but the cooling system should basically be ready to go, and go figure, I forgot to look for the bottom little rubber nipples, so if I can't make something, I'll have to figure something out. So there's that. So the cooling system should be bueno to go in. And then I also ran my catch can setup, so you can actually see. Show you. So we have the one line here, the one line back there. So that one runs under that harness all the way across under the intake, comes down to a Y fitting, meets up with this one. Yes, I will paint the white Y black. That goes there. And then we also have the the valley cover vent meets up with this one, and then the one from this side is one shot all the way. So that's a Y there, and you can actually see there's two hoses. This light is just too good. Shout out to my boy Mike for this light. It's just too good, too good. So you see the two hoses run down this way, under the battery tray, along the frame rail, and then they come over to here to the beautifully mounted catch can. So I'm pretty cool with the placement of this. I can easily get the bottom piece off. The dipstick is kind of useless on it, but I figured this keeps it out of the way. It's easy to get to. It's behind the bumper. It's very sleek. And originally I planned on mounting it somewhere back in this region or over here. But, you know, I deleted the cruise control for a reason, so you could see more paint in the bay and to give me room for the catch can. But I don't know. I feel like this works out. It wasn't horrible to do. Kind of a pain in the ass if we're going to be honest. But hopefully it works. It still needs to be tidied up, you know, zip ties, and it's going to be mounted to that little bracket right there since the harness doesn't go there anymore. Well, I'm not putting the harness there anymore for the AC compressor. That will run down as well. But I hate it. I hate you, Verizon. You suck. But anyways, so yes, the catch can is installed. It's plumbed up, basically ready to go. Like I said, I'll paint that Y fitting black at some point, but at least that's good. It'll fit behind the bumper, and that's not in the way of anything. That's what we love. So once again, at some point, cooling system will get thrown together, put on. That's all good. Power steering, need to clean all this stuff up. All of this stuff actually needs to be deep cleaned, but that whole setup will be sprayed black, and I can't do the power steering lines until I put the core support front back on, which will be riveted where the original spot welds were, and that's this front panel here. The AC setup, I'm not worried about now. To get this thing back on the road, we just need the cooling setup and the power steering. So we're getting there, and the throttle cable should be here tomorrow. So maybe I can knock all that stuff out at once and get the whole bay buttoned up. So I've got some power steering lines, power steering cooler, and the crossover tube for the cooling lines. Those are all spray bombed. Sorry. refurbished. That's what those air quotes are for. Well, now the car is back up in the air, and what I want to do right now is basically finalize the suspension and double check everything underneath. Make sure nothing's leaking, no bolts came out, yada yada yada. So another thing I did was I threw in the heater core lines, so those are all routed as well. So let's get some suspension knocked out. So I've gotten everything tightened up. The steering rack is finally nicely bolted to the subframe. Sway bar end links are bolted on, and the ball joints are tightened up, or the tie rod ends. So did a rough alignment on it according to what the black car had as specs on that steering rack, which isn't really a good idea, but I figured it put me in a better spot. This one, you can tell, is still towed in, so I need to suck that one in more at the rear of the tire. That needs to go in more. And then at this one, I think the same thing. So I actually will do a little measurement right now and try to see if I can figure out a little rough alignment, see how much I'm off. As long as I get the thing close, I'll be happy for now. It's going to take a couple test drives to really get it dialed in, amongst everything else we got to worry about. But everything else looks good. There's one drip on the tail housing of the trans, and that was basically just excess fluid from when I filled it, and it was a little bit spilled sitting on the cross member. So not worried about that. Everything else looks good under the car. And yeah, this tire is also flat. It's probably going to debeat, honestly, if I keep letting it sit like this. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? And I'm also very pissed off because now my throttle cable that I ordered is coming tomorrow when it was supposed to be here today in the afternoon. Now it's tomorrow by 10 p.m. So I'm pretty tight about that. But that basically means we can get everything else buttoned up, and the throttle cable hopefully is the last thing to worry about. As soon as I got home from work today, I decided to basically knock out a few things on my flappy list. Tightened up the entire cooling system. I made sure every single hose has a good connection, everything's seated, everything's tightened, all that jazz. So that's good. And did that. Sent the both power steering lines. They're hooked up to the res. They go down and around, and they come out somewhere down there. And then the cooler lines, the soft lines, actually run next to the radiator, and they connect back there basically. So we'll take care of those in a second, but cooling system is basically hooked up. So I had to look at some old pictures to see how some of this stuff was routed. I think I have it right. We're going to find out if the car runs weird or not, but we look good there. So now I want to take care of getting the core support back on. Basically just have to drill out these old spot well holes a little bit bigger, throw some rivets into it with the old, well, the new to me, core support piece. And then once the core support's in, power steering cooler can go on, headlights can go back on, bumper, all that kind of jazz. So let's get it. Well, you guys are looking at the exact place that I had my phone set up on a time lapse for a very long time. Because we're at this point now. The front end is half-assed back on together. I pulled the side skirts off just because I'm not comfortable with how they're mounted. Yeah, so bumper and headlights are partially on. Well, that's as good as I'm going to do for now. Whole cooling system's hooked up. All the power steering system's hooked up. I just actually got my Amazon package in the mail with my Lockar adjustable throttle cable. So I'm going to play with that right now. And once that's in, then I think we will be ready to start filling with fluids and see what we can do. And then after that, I think I'm going to worry about the exhaust situation. I might actually just put on this exhaust. I might cut the cats off of it and just go to AutoZone, get some like slit pipes that will match this piece back onto what's under the car, since that's what was already on there. It should fit. The hangers are still there, yada, yada, yada. That's my easiest way to get a decent exhaust on the car quickly and make the thing a little bit quieter so I can drive to work tomorrow. Alrighty, folks. Well, it's a new day. It's Friday. And unfortunately, the GTO did not take me to work today. Now, unfortunately, as well, last night I lost a shit ton of footage that I had filmed, basically putting the entire front end back together, the whole cooling system, power steering system, headlights, all that stuff. For whatever reason, the time lapse decided to shit out on me only a couple minutes into me doing it, and obviously I didn't keep checking on my phone like I should have, so that's on me. But I got to the point of where the car was running and I could move it out of the garage for the first time in a couple months. First time I let the clutch out in gear, and seemed fine, didn't make any weird noises, so that's good. I was very scared that something was just going to let loose with the trans or some stuff. I have PTSD of when Bonnie's tail shafts blew off the trans and tried coming through the floor to bite me. But thankfully, all that seemed fine. Rolled the car outside and started to fill the cooling system, and that is when disaster struck. So usually I just run concentrate coolant, so you have to mix water in with it. Usually it's a better bang for your buck. So I went to fill the cooling system, and I ran inside to grab some water, and I came outside, and there was a puddle coming from under the car, and I'm like, oh great, it's pissing coolant. Well, I bent down, touched the puddle, and smelt it, and it was fuel. So at that point, the car was already hot, or well, operating temp, but it was running, and everything was hot. And I'm like, great, there's fuel pissing from somewhere. The car's hot. This thing's gonna go up in flames. And I started to panic, got the car shut down. I rolled it a couple feet forward just so it wasn't sitting on top of the puddle. And it turns out that my passenger side fuel rail kept lifting off of the back injector closest to like where the passenger seat is. So for whatever reason, it kept lifting off of that. And I actually tried to fix it 3 separate times out in the driveway at like 9:30 at night. Dark as shit, couldn't see anything. Just working with a little flashlight. And I was not able to get the thing rigged up to be able to drive it. And I did a little bit of research, and it turns out with this BBK fuel rail setup with the fast intake, I guess it goes for really any LSs. I don't know if like any small block Fords are the same, but BBK basically made really shitty fuel rails, and to get them to seal with the injectors properly, usually customers had to modify the brackets to make them fit better and squeeze the injectors a little bit more. But you also cannot do the traditional fat O-ring on the top of the injector, skinny O-ring on the bottom of it, like an OEM injector would be. You have to actually run fat O-rings top and bottom of the injector to make up some slack room for where BBK just didn't make a good product. So I read a bunch of forums last night, and that's basically what it came down to. Anytime anybody called BBK about this issue, BBK claimed that they had never known about it, and they said, we don't know about it, but what we can recommend you is to do these things, and that is what would fix it. So piss poor design. I didn't buy the parts. I wish I bought different parts, but this setup worked before, and that's why I didn't buy anything new. But silly me, I bought new O-rings thinking I was a goody two-shoes, and turns out I fucked myself because of that. So luckily, I kept all of the O-rings, all the fat O-rings that came off these injectors before. And what I want to do today is pull the fuel rails back off, pull all of the injectors out, and do fat O-rings, top and bottom of the injectors. I hope I have enough clean O-rings that have no rips on them to be able to get the car back on the road. If so, and I don't have any fuel leaks, well, let me tell you, 40 PSI of fuel pressure is horrifying when it is spraying everywhere. It is horrifying. So we want to fix it once, fix it right. So what I'm going to do is double check all the old O-rings that I pulled off the injector, see if I have enough to be able to salvage this problem. And I'm going to just triple check everything fuel related because I do not like fire. I don't want to have to deal with that. So I don't want all of our hard work burning to the ground, everything that we've been through together, right? It would make for a good video, but not today. So that's what we're going to do. And yeah, let's hope this solves the problem because my mom's not going to be happy if there's any more puddles of fuel and oil mixed in the driveway. And I say that because I'm pretty sure when the fuel was running down the back of the motor, it actually cleaned off the little bit of grime that was still on the bell housing and stuff like that. So, yeah, but the puddles are pretty big, so let's fix it. guys, very nerve-wracking, but first test drive in the GTO. Let's hope nothing blows up or falls off. Otherwise, I will cry. Let's see what happens. I'm very scared, we're gonna be honest. Like, very, very scared. Got a lot of tools, so stuff might jangle around a little bit, but that's fine. See how this transmission shifts. Oh my god, it's like butter. Not going far, going through the neighborhood. Oh my god, I have an almost straight steering wheel. That's nuts. Pull over, take a quick look. This shifter is so notchy, this thing's ridiculous. Wow. Temp still looks good. Top out, I'll take a quick look. Our hazards on since they work beautifully. Alright, be right back. So far. Let's see if we can make it back home and give a nice check over and maybe drive some more tonight. Well, guys, that might have been the craziest first drive that I think I've ever done. I have a very small oil leak under the car. That's it. At least I think it's oil, but it might be oil coming out of the compressor because I didn't cap the lines off. It's capped off with tape and tinfoil. But holy shit, this thing runs and drives so smooth and sound. Oh god, so good, so good, so worth the headache. So Gemma, to you, cheers, baby. And let me tell you guys, that transmission, oh, it feels like it's worth $4 grand. Let me tell you, she feels good. God, this is like the happiest day of my life. I can actually sleep now. Rolling. All right, guys, day 2 of the GTO on the road. Neighborhood, and then a big bolt check.
comes in.
Yep. Well, the wheel hop I might have fixed though, since I had missing diff mount bolts. Look at this.
Yeah. Wow.
And you can't tell me I'm not a good alignment guy.
Wow.
Alright, let's go a little to the right. There's our crackhead on the bike. Alright. That's a lot of scary driving. Don't die. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys, well, I think that's where we're going to wrap up today's video. And I think this actually is going to wrap up the restoration series on the GTO over here. So got my boy Mike with me, who's a very big help in this project. I want to give a very, very big thanks to him. Thankfully, I was actually able to entice him and get his GTO out today for the show. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we rock no hood, no skirts. Obviously still a lot of work that needs to be done to this thing, but she sounds great. She runs really good. And only got one small leak, and it's from the AC compressor because I don't have the lines hooked up. So I can't complain. She came out pretty goddamn good. I think we put a lot of good, hard work into this thing, and I think it was well worth it. But like I said, I think this is where we're going to wrap up the restoration series because now she's straight. So now it's going to be, just continuously working on this thing to get it better and better. And once again, I cannot thank my boy Mike enough. Shout out to my buddy Webkey Racing. He's got the LS Swap Square Body and the Cam Caprice. We were at the car show with him as well. He was a very, very big help as well on the mechanical side of this car. And also want to give a shout out to Silver Sport Transmissions for the Magnum F and PSI conversion. I got the trans through both of them. This trans is beautiful, shifts great, and I got it for a good price, so I can't complain. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you're subscribed, drop a like, drop some comments down below, let me know what you think. And yeah, I think the next video will be a pretty cool one. I'm building some custom headlights for the GTO, so I got to cut these apart and make something cool out of them. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Zooming in on me?
Yep.
So